Yo, what's going on, boys? It's your boy Joel CP here. And first off, just in the beginning of this, kind of just as an intro, I appreciate everyone that went ahead and caught the ebook, offense, defense, or if you guys caught both, I really do appreciate it. I appreciate the support that you guys have been showing me in the streams as well, and on YouTube as well. You guys just in general have been really, really nuts. So thank you, shout out to you guys. And yeah, this is the beginning of the ebook that everyone's been asking me about. Number one, if you buy the ebook, just a heads up, if you buy the ebook, you're gonna get it updated throughout the whole entire year, right? So like, let's just say if I drop a video right now, I will be dropping updates depending on patches if I have to, or if I find anything. Once in a while, I'll probably just drop a tip to go ahead and add to it. So yeah, I appreciate everyone that went ahead and purchased the ebook, and let's get straight into the content. Number one, of course, my biggest formation out of this Rams ebook is going to be gun type flex. I run a little bit of bunch offset and a little bit of single back doubles, but a lot of my stuff is out of type flex. And what you're gonna find is I run 4 to 5 plays out of type flex with about 5 to 6 setups each, if not more, depending on the play. And from there, I kind of just adjust depending on what my opponent is doing, depending on the coverage or the adjustments that he's making. So today I'm just gonna break down my favorite route combos versus every single defensive coverage right now. So especially man to man, I'll be showing you guys a decent amount of man beaters out of that. I'll also be telling you guys personnel for MUT, of course, because I've been playing a decent amount of MUT, so I know which cards you probably want there. And just in general, I'll be showing you guys my thought process on reads. So hopefully, you guys enjoy the video. Hopefully this makes you a better Madden player and improves your game. So number one, when you press R1, it's going to pull up your substitutions, and immediately I like to put my fastest guy, my best route runner here at the Y route. This is going to be my bread and butter. This is the route that kind of just beats almost everything in the game. So right now I've been experimenting with Mark Clayton with Slot-O-Matic there, Tyreek Hill with 90 deep route running there, and I'll say either or works between those two. If you guys can get a decent speed Slot-O-Matic, 88 speed or above, to be honest with you, or if you can get a guy with 90 deep running and MUT right now, which is literally just Tyreek Hill, then I feel like this route will be at its best. Every other position doesn't really matter, to be honest. I honestly just only use speed. I tried route technician, got Slot-O-Matic and stuff like that, but to be honest, it's just like the fact that there's not enough speed yet with those type of abilities to be able to use it at every single slot. I feel like speed kills at these two positions especially, but at this position you can either pick speed and deep route running, speed and Slot-O-Matic, or just one of the two, deep route running or Slot-O-Matic. But like I said, right now only Tyreek Hill and MUT has deep route running. So if you guys are gonna go ahead and like run regs, if you guys are playing regs money games, or if you guys are like playing a CFM, I would definitely recommend to pick up someone with a route technician or use someone route technician. It doesn't have to be fast, but I feel like this route is really, really good with T.Y. Hilton. So, yeah, two fast guys here, deep route runner, Slot-O-Matic here. I like a catching running back, and I like a fast tight end. And the first play I'm going to break down, and this is going to take, honestly, majority of the video, is the infamous PA post shot. Now, a lot of people ask me, how do I set this up? How do I run this? I run this 40 different ways. No troll, there's so many different ways that I run this, and we're gonna start with the short side. And if you guys didn't know, short side to wide side matters a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and respot the ball real quick so I can show you guys the difference. If you get the ball right here inside the hashes, like right in the middle, then that's just middle of the field. That's where most of the setups are gonna work. It doesn't matter if they're short side or long side. If you're running tight flex and you get the ball in this hash, I would honestly recommend to flip it. There are dots that can go to the wide side, but the short side, you're going to get more things open. And for this as well, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys on this side what happens when you run the short side. So first setup that I like to run out of this, and this is just versus the non-baseline cover 3, but this setup works versus any coverage. And when I say any coverage, I mean literally any coverage. Cover 3, cover 4, man to man, it doesn't really matter. Now, is it more effective versus others? Yes. I feel like this specific setup is very, very effective versus cover 3 and cover 2. It's still good versus man to man and cover 4, but I still run a lot of different modified versions of this, sometimes with different motions or routes on the field to beat the man to man and cover 4 way easier. But yes, this does work versus cover 4 and man to man as well. So all I do is I put circle on a streak. I'm going to go ahead and hitch X, and I'm going to curl square. So the reason why I do this is because you have kind of just like a levels concept between X and square, right? When I hike the ball here, clearly I can have either one of these routes that I want to throw if they're going to watch the triangle route. But the number one route is the triangle route. That route gets open, like I said, versus any type of deep blue. It doesn't matter if it's a quarter, a deep half, an inside third, well, not inside third, an outside third. You know, this streak right here is going to go ahead and grab this deep blue, and you're going to be able to just pass lead this every single time. Now, let's just say someone has their purples or cloud flats, whatever, on 30. Then that's where, you know, we're going to be able to dump down. We're going to be able to choose between this or that, or maybe if someone has this manned up. But if you're playing against someone that's just stock running cover 3 or just stock running coverage, you should be able to beat them every single time. 21-0 in my opinion. You should be able to score no effort at all. So the next setup that I like to run out of this, it's a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and streak X, and I'm going to go ahead and put square on a hitch. Now the reason why I'm going to do this is because I want the concept to be able to have two crossers to different sides of the field. Number one, this is impossible to user in my opinion, right? So clearly they can set up adjustments behind it and user it, but it's impossible to be able to say, all right, I'm going to bait circle and go to triangle, or vice versa, just because of how quick those routes cut and how good and how deep they run. So for example, right here, you're going to see me hike, and I'm going to have square, triangle, and circle, right? And I can go back in the replay to show you guys. I have all three of these things open. The opponent's going to have to 110% adjust running stock coverage against this type of setup just because there's so many things open here. I have square right off the rip. Then in a couple of seconds, this circle route is going to get open as you wait towards the sideline because this curl flat is not going to play it. The only way this curl flat's going to play it is if it's like 20 yards or 25 yards. But if it's not 20 to 25 yards, it's not going to play it. And then back again, we just go right back to this route. You see even this time, this guy is backed up. He's backpedaling, actually noticing the route a little bit more, but it doesn't really matter. That route is really, really good this year. You're able to throw it basically versus anything. Next setup, sometimes I like to just run it stock, and the reason why I like to run it stock is you can quick hike people, and if they're running, not stock coverage, but if they're not running cover 4 or cover, well, yeah, just cover 4 to be honest, you're able to throw that again. So that's why I kind of say that's the bread and butter route, just because when I quick hike this, I have a levels concept going to the left side of the field, and back towards the right side of the field, you have this Y route that once it crosses the face of the deep blue, I throw every single time, or once it's crossing, just because it's going to be impossible for them to go ahead and make a play on it unless it's a quarter. As you can see, I throw it like right around here, sometimes when he's crossing a little bit more, just in case if it's a very, very good fast DB on that right side of the field. But I'm not scared about the DB, and I'm going to go ahead and throw that every single time. It doesn't even matter if it's a good DB or not. I've played people that have outside zone KO, deep zone KO. It doesn't matter. It doesn't work. It's not going to stop it. The easiest way to stop it is probably going to be man-to-man, and that is still going to give it problems because it's not always going to stop it. The next set I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a bomb out of cover 3 or verse only a cover 3. Now, when it comes to bombs, I feel like I have a bomb for every formation, every coverage, if not multiple. This one is pretty simple. You're going to smart route square. So that's going to be triangle, square, and then R1 to go ahead and smart route it. And what it does is, you guys can see, that post cuts at about 35 yards. Now I'm going to triangle, square, R1. And now it cuts about 5 to 6 yards shorter, which means it's going to run and cut quicker, and it's going to get open. It's going to run, you know, lower against zones, which means it's going to get open better. You know what I mean? It's going to have more of a window than a deeper post. And then I put my X on curl right here just in case, more of a safety route, just in case the user goes to stop the bomb, I have X. And if the user stops the curl, then I have square. So it's really one of those things the user's going to have to pick. And usually when I play people the first time, they're going to go ahead and choose the wrong thing. So I wasn't able to throw that there, to be honest. I kind of got pressure in the pocket, but I'm going to practice mode and then I'll show you guys again. But this play is really, really good versus cover 3 because it's going to bring, this comeback is going to bring down this deep third, and you're going to be able to have the ability to go ahead and throw this up top every single time. It's just a matter, honestly, of speed. All right, so clearly we can't find anyone fast right here, but I'm going to go back to it again. All you're going to do is go ahead and motion over, triangle, square, L2, but you're going to wait until you motion it over to triangle, square, not square, circle, and then L2. You're going to wait to motion it over, because if you don't, if you try to do it right then and there, it should be, yeah, it's going to turn into a flat. So you're going to wait until you motion it over. If you guys don't know how to motion, you're going to hold circle and find the receiver with your left stick. And then when your circle is right under the receiver, then you go ahead and flick the left stick left or right, depending on what the motion you want to do. But then again, I'm going to go ahead and try to see if I can roll out and throw this. But as you can see, it's going to pull the dude down this time. Jared Goff is that Lamar Jackson in MUT, so he's not going to make that throw. But it's a nice little window that you're going to be able to throw. And honestly, it's way better in MUT, just because after a while of running the same plays over and over again, in this Madden specifically, In practice mode, the computer is going to start to adjust. So that's the only reason why, honestly, that it doesn't even look anywhere near as open as it usually is. But still, I mean, it's pretty open. You see it's pretty open. And Regs, this is Mahomes' easy walking touchdown. You know, with Lamar, it may be a touchdown as well in mud, but at least an easy dot for sure. So, I mean, that's something that I like to do as a bomb versus cover 3 as well. The next thing I like to run is, this is kind of like the other setup, right? With this streak X and hitch square, right? But this is a zig. And the reason why it's a zig is because I feel like this route combo is really, really hard to stop. Just because the high-low concept on the left side of the field, for the most part, is unmannable, right? The zig, you really can't man too many guys up to a zig if you have good route runners in MUT or in Regs, right? Just because a zig is a man-beating route. So more than likely, you're going to have to put a hard flat over there or user that left side of the field. And then if you put a hard flat over there, then I'm able to just hit the levels concept and hit the crosser. So that's why I feel like that's really, really hard compared to the hitch. Sometimes I put the hitch there just so I can go ahead and motion it to the right side of the field, turn it into a drag, maybe motion it up. Not motion up, playmaker it up. By the way, playmakering is the right stick. Just the right stick, if you guys didn't know, to go ahead and playmaker your receiver. But yeah, so that's the reason why I like to zig it, just because it's kind of unmannable. And I can go ahead and look. Right there, you see circles open. Just because that played like a hard flat. But if that's a cloud flat, or if that's, you know, a man up in a cloud flat, then I'm gonna go ahead and hit the zig. And then on the backside, we still have triangle wide open. So that's why I love this play so much. Just versus a cover 3. These same setups, you know, like if I streak circle, for example, these same setups, and I'll show you guys, work versus a cover 2, works versus a cover 4. I would say, again, it's way more effective versus a cover 2 and a cover 3 than a cover 4. I'm going to be breaking down a little bit just some cover 4 beaters that I like to run, because I feel like that's the only that's the only coverage that I feel like kind of can slow down tight flex. You have to throw a little bit more drags and stuff, but even that, I lap some stuff as of lately to be able to bomb that. So I just picked a cover 3 again. I'm going to go ahead and pick a cover 2 just to show you guys. It honestly gets even more open versus cover 2. I feel like tight flex is 110%. The coverage beater, you know what I mean? Like, if blitzes aren't in the game this year, or not in the game, but if blitzes aren't as effective as they were last year, you guys know 146, just manning up the running back and sacking them every play. Like, if it's not as effective as it is last year, I feel like tight flex will be very, very, very effective throughout the whole year. As you guys can see, I'm able to just throw that triangle route for a touchdown versus cover 2. So I feel like cover 2, if anything, is just the worst nightmare for tight flex. It is really, really easy to run this versus a cover 2. Show you guys again. Bam. So those are just the setups that I like to run versus cover 2 and a cover 3. Let me show you guys a couple of more that I like to run, and these are just more versatile. I call these versatile setups because I run this versus cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. The only thing I don't run this versus is man-to-man, cover 1 hole with purples, just because I have a certain amount of setups for that, I feel like. I'm not saying that these don't work, but I have some stuff that I specifically, you know, run versus man-to-man to really kill it, and I'll show you guys in a little bit. But number 1 for the universal stuff is this, right? So I put I put X on a streak, I put circle on a drag, and I put square on a curl. Now I'm not done. Clearly, that, you know, this just looks like normal setup, even though I do run this as a normal setup as well without the motion. But I'm gonna go ahead and motion over circle right here and hike it and turn it into a bunch. And when I do, I have this concept where if they are purpling on this circle side, then I can go ahead and just dump it down the circle. And if they're not, let's just say they're hard flatting and they're usering, then I still have square on that backside as kind of like my last security route, right? You know what I mean? Like something that's right there sitting in the middle of the zone. I can low ball this, I can throw this right off the break. But on this other side, we're running this levels concept, right? And I don't run a lot of level concepts to the right side of the field, so I feel like it's very, very effective to run this because it puts people in a very big predicament in terms of their user and their adjustments. Because not every play can you come out and just cloud flat or cloud flat and curl flat to 25, 30 yards on their zone drops, just because I'm going to be able to hit that drag. And once I start to realize that, I just throw a drag all the time until they hard flat a user, you know, just switch up their adjustments and try to find some other combination to stop this play. Another play I like to do with the circle motion is, and this, like I said, remember I was telling you guys about short side versus wide side. I just don't like to run a lot of my plays to the wide side. So here, I'm gonna go ahead and motion over circle here and square here. I'm gonna keep them on a stock route. And the reason why I like to do that, and I like to end triangle here, the reason why I like to do this is because this is a quick beater to the outside. So if someone is running a cover 3, if someone is running a cover 4, you're actually able to throw that, and if not, you're able to throw that triangle route clearly for the end, and then on the backside, you still have the PA post shot, right? So this is a setup that you don't always have to run to the short side. Again, like I said, this is one of these universal plays where you can run in the middle field, you can run it to the wide side, the short side, just because the route combo to me is just very, very good. You know what I mean? You have this levels on the left side of the field, but you also have this post still coming back to the right side of the field. So if I want to, you know, I can throw this to the wide side, but I can also throw the in route. And it just makes people have to either put a cloud on that side of the field or man them up. It just makes people have to do a lot more extra, and it brings a lot more attention to the left side of the field so they can get the right side of the field back open. And I feel like that's kind of like a big thing in tight flex. Like if you can find route combos where you don't have to use the triangle route, or the triangle route isn't the #1 need, then you can mix the triangle route plays in and be able to hit them deep for 30, 40, 50 yards. And I feel like in this game you can do a lot of chunk plays as well. Alright, just to show you guys some setups versus a cover 4 real quick in PA post shot. So a couple of quick setups that I like to run versus a cover 4. I like to run this beater. So what I do is I smart route square. I put circle on a long out route. I put X on a curl, and I put triangle on a hitch, or you can put them on a streak. It doesn't really matter, right? And when I motion over circle versus cover 4, square is gonna get right into like a perfect area where you're able to still bomb it deep. And I wish they didn't shed me every play, but let me go ahead and respot the ball real quick. But again, to smart route, triangle, square, R1. So you see the guys cutting at like 35, making cut 10 yards shorter, you know what I mean? Then we're gonna smart route the out route, and then from there, you know, you can make some underneath adjustments just depending on what your opponent's doing. But I love putting X on that curl route just because I feel like it's a safety route. It's something that a lot of users kind of bite down on too, right? They see these two routes going deep, they're like, oh, this route combo is really bad, I don't know what's supposed to get open, you know what I mean? They don't see that deep post sneaking right behind that streak. But with the curl route, they kind of just jump on it. They're like, oh, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna jump this curl because it's the first thing open, and then they get hit over the head with a post deep. So that's why I put the curl there. But just to show you guys, bam, beautiful, right? Verse cover 4, easy, simple. You just pass, lead it to the right, easy rack catch for a touchdown. That out route on the outside just glitches this quarter, just makes him sit there on the toilet, confused. You see him just scouting the backfield. So it's an easy rack and a touchdown. And yeah, so that's why I love running versus a cover 4 if I need to beat a cover 4. Another setup that I like to run out of cover 4 is the same as that thing that I showed you last time. No in route this time, but just a motion over circle. It beats cover 4 just because quarters back up. You see how far they back up? So I'm able to throw that. I feel like I'm able to throw that more wide side versus a cover 4 than maybe like in the middle of the field or a short side. It still gets open, but you know, clearly right there I should have just took my drag. That's why it's more of a, that's why I say it's a levels concept. But sometimes you see again, bam, I'm able to just go ahead and quick throw that. I don't know why Marlon Humphrey played that last time, but I'm able to just quick throw that to the outside for a decent chunk of yards. So that's why I like running versus a cover 4. Now, if you guys are asking, yo, Joel, like cover 4 is really, really bagging tight flex. I feel like it's bagging the Y route at least. You know what I mean? What's another way to get the Y route open versus a cover 4? And another way to get the Y route open versus a cover 4 here is I'm just going to show you guys. It can honestly be anything, right? You can streak X. You can streak circle. I personally like to streak circle so you can get that outside quarter just to grab them in every single time. And then what I like to do versus a cover 4 is just because I know there's only going to be one flat on the field, you know what I mean? It's not like a cover 2 where they can hard flat and they can cloud flat. Even in a cover 3, I feel like that's a little bit easier to do because usually in a cover 3, you're going to have 3 of your 4 DBs in the deep secondary that are going to be in deep zones instead of 4. So you have another guy that you're going to be able to mess with. Maybe put him in like a purple on that side of the field with a hard flat or something like that. I feel like you can get way more adjusty in a cover 3 versus a cover 4. So with that being said, I put circle on a streak. I put X on a slant. I put square on a flat or a zig, either or. I kind of like the zigs this year a little bit more just because they take a couple of seconds. I feel like they're kind of slept on versus zone. I know they're good versus man-to-man, but I feel like they're kind of slept on versus zone, especially how good rat catches are. But the big thing you're going to do right here is you're going to motion over triangle. You're going to let him set, and then you're going to motion over back immediately. And I hike it before he sets here, right? And I'll show you guys in replay why I do so. But that is why that wide route gets so open. It's because I wait for him to come across the middle of the field, and instead of setting, I hike it mid-motion. And the reason why I hike it mid-motion is so that he can get kind of like this stutter, and he takes a couple of seconds to go ahead and run the route. And what that does, it lets this streak go ahead and pull this quarter up so far to the point that the quarter is not paying attention anymore to the post that's underneath, and I'm able to go ahead and just sling that post in for an easy 20 to 30 yards. So that's the reason why I like it versus a cover 4. That motion specifically. Again, you can run that normal PA post shot step that I told you guys in the beginning, just with the streak on either square or X, and that's gonna be, and not square or X, circle or X, and that's gonna be perfectly fine as well. But I do like that motion over as well, just because it's gonna really get underneath, and you see how completely wide open it is. And personally, I like it to be completely wide open, just compared to like a tight squeeze. And the next play that I run is cross, right? So I like to run cross, and it gets open versus so many different coverages. I only have 2 setups versus cross, but I feel like it's a very effective play, to be honest with you. Number one, I run the double drags, right? In the double drags, I motion out square, and I put them on a smoke screen right here, which is triangle square. Wait for him to sit, and then you're gonna put him on the smoke screen. And the reason why I like to do that personally is just because it's very good this year. Rat catch animations, you're going to be able to throw square and then just immediately turn up the field and be able to get maybe 10 to 15 yards. I also like to block the running back right here, just so that it's not a crazy amount of traffic. But just in case, I do have the running back sometimes on a wheel route if I know for a fact they're not setting pressure. But versus good players, I like to block the running back just because some players like to send pressure even though there's not crazy pressure in the game right now, you know what I mean? So right there, double drags. I also have that deep post from circle. I don't run that a crazy amount, but I do run that once in a while, especially when people I feel like are playing a lot of soft coverage versus me. Then the next thing I like to run, my bread and butter from this formation, right, is going to be, it's kind of like a mesh post. Like if anyone has watched a lot of people that run bunch, I create my own mesh post, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to put X on a flat, you're going to put triangle on a hitch, you can put square on an out route, you can put square on a zig, it doesn't really matter too much. And what you're going to do is you're going to motion hike circle when it gets like not all the way out there. And the reason why I call this a mesh post type concept is because I'm going to be able to hit this running back. Let me go ahead and not get in the cover 2 real quick. Let me show you guys versus anything besides the cover 2. But the mesh spot wheel route, or not the mesh spot, the cross wheel route runs just like a mesh post. So it's gonna get wide open in my opinion. That's the reason why I don't know why I said in my opinion, it gets open. I mean, I was just saying like in my opinion, that's the reason why it gets so open is because it kind of just runs just like it. But you make sure to run it on the short side, right? Because when it runs on the short side, it runs different than the wide side. This wheel route gets wide open right here, low ball. If you guys don't know the low ball, it's L2. I like to pass lead that to the left and then to the bottom left. All right, show you guys one more time. As you can see, R1 gets open right there. I don't know why Malcolm Brown just didn't want to get to the ball, but it's wide open. So that's the reason why I like that wheel route specifically, right? It's just because you can go ahead and run a mesh type of concept where you have this flat that's going to go ahead and bring this flat to the outside. You're still going to be able to go ahead and throw this wheel route. This was very popular last year, especially in the red zone, and it's popular this year as well. So I'm very happy that I was able to find my own type of tight flex mesh spot. Yeah, if you guys are wondering, you don't have to motion it as well, right? It has nothing to do with the wheel if you motion it. You can hike the normal post and go ahead and throw that as well if you don't want to go ahead and motion everything, because sometimes motions are a tell to plays as well. But if you guys are wondering, sometimes I do not motion that, right? I run the same exact setup. I'm going to show you guys again, right? This can be a zig, this can be an out. I run the same setup, sometimes not motion, just so I can go ahead and get my opponent off guard. You can also low ball that post as well. I got hit as I threw, but it was still wide open. Just same exact type of pass lead as the wheel route, where it's going to be the left and down angle. So those are the setups that I like to run versus cross. Then the next play that I like to run is double spot. This is another very good play in tight flex, especially this year just because of how the corner routes run. So as you guys can see, tight end is on a huge corner route, or at least what it looks like is a huge corner route. So what you guys are going to do is, and I mean this, it's been a big part of the video, and it's smart routing. So you're going to triangle, X, R1. You can smart route it, you can not smart route it. I do either or, just depending on where I am on the field, what situation it is. But as you guys can see, the table route is very good this year. Flats are very good this year. The rack animations are very good. You don't stutter when you catch the ball. So that's why this play is very good in my opinion. It was good last year, but the corner routes didn't run as sharp, and more importantly, you could not rack flats this year. But this year, last year, but this year you can very, very well. So that's why I like this play. And the first setup I like to do is I just put circle on the street. It's literally it. And what my reads are, I'm just looking for the flat. And if the flat, if it's a hard flat out there, then I'm gonna go ahead and throw the corner route. And if it isn't, then I'm gonna throw the running back. Let's just say hard flats and let's say hard flats and curl flats, which means something else is gonna be wide open. Then I'm looking to the backside to throw square. Square is a very, very quick route, right? It's kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like a rub route. You know what I mean? Especially versus someone that's blitzing, like someone blitzes in a cover two. I like to quickly throw that square route because this streak is gonna shield it. But you don't always have to put it on a streak. You could put it on a flat too if you feel like the streak may bump into that route. It just really depends on timing and stuff like that. But either or, I like to run the setup like that. You see square kind of just gets open towards the middle of the field. The hook curl played it, but in the situation, in the theoretical situation that if someone had to hard flat and curl flat that right side of the field, you're not going to have both of those hook curls clearly. So the middle of the field is something that you possibly could easily make a read on as well. So that's one setup I like to run versus double spot. As double spot, it works versus a cover two and a cover three. The next setup I like to run with double spot is I'm going to streak square. I'm going to put X on a drag, and then I'm going to motion circle and motion hike them probably halfway through. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because you have another spot route, right? Another hitch that's going to sit in the middle of the field, and this table is going to bring this hard flat out to the outside. So you're going to have that just sitting in the middle of the field wide open. It also brings users' attention a lot just because for some reason, when users see like a hitch or a curl and it gets open, and it's just sitting in the middle of the field and the hook curl is not playing it, people are always like, oh my god, I had to go use that for some reason, even good players. So that's why I put that hook there, kind of just like bait, but it's also my security blanket, right? So I could look, you guys see circle is open if I want to throw it, just because hook curls aren't going to play it, right? I feel like you have to probably make a zone drop adjustment just to go ahead and pick that spot off. So that's why I like this route combo. I like this route combo a lot. Just because you have this drag, you have this backside, right? I just feel like there's too many things that you have to go ahead and focus on, especially in tight flex where I'm already hitting you with other route combos to go ahead and stop that route combo as well. So that's another route combo that I like to run out of tight flex as well, out of double spot. All right, I'm gonna show you guys another thing real quick, and then we're gonna go into the man beaters. The last play that I like to run, bench, and I only run one setup out of a bench, and it's usually versus a cover three. Well, it can be a cover three, cover four, or cover two. It works versus all of these. But I feel like it's very, very effective versus cover four. And I'll tell you this right here. If there's something that's usually very good versus cover four, unless it's a specific cover four bomb like I showed you guys in the beginning, it's going to benefit. It's going to be well. It's going to be good versus every single formation. Not formation, coverage. It's going to do well versus every coverage. 110% locked in. It's going to do well versus a cover one, a cover two, a cover three, a cover four, clearly, you know what I mean? So just because cover four right now I feel like is a pretty hard formation to I keep saying formation, coverage to beat. Just because it's the beginning of the year, right? Clearly the flats work, but sometimes cover four is very, very hard to beat just because the quarters kind of play a little wild to the outside, especially versus tight flex, because people are expecting you just to go ahead and throw those deep crossers no matter what. But yeah, this is why I like to run this as well versus a cover four. So what you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to smart route X, which is triangle X R1, right? So you see beforehand he's at he's almost running that route at 37 yards. Well, at the 37 yard line is where he's supposed to cut, right? Now I'm going to smart route and he's at the 50. So that's going to make it way quicker. Then I'm going to motion him over. But the big thing is hiking it as soon as he motions. And that's why this play is so important. There's no other play that you can motion hike like that. But as you can see, that turns into a post that goes and cuts across the middle of the field. And that's why I like that play so much. That post gets under quarters for a cover four. That's another go-to play for big chunk of yards versus cover four instead of just dump downs. So that's why I like running that play as well. And it catches my opponent off guard because I really don't run a lot of bench, and that's my only setup versus out of bench. So I feel like it really catches my opponent off guard, and I kind of keep it just for late plays in the game. All right, now I'm going to show you guys the man beaters, the bread and butter right now, just because everyone's running man-to-man, you know what I mean? Everyone's running cover one robber, out of dime, out of 1-4-6, out of 2-3-6. Let me go ahead and purple my safeties and run around the middle of the field with Isaiah Simmons. Like, everyone runs this. So the moment I start to get stopped a little bit by man-to-man. I went in the lab versus man-to-man for hours. I needed to find some stuff. I found a couple of route combos that I feel like are really, really good versus man-to-man, if not almost unstoppable. I don't want to say unstoppable because versus a good player, someone can mix up man and zone, and then they can slow you down a little bit. But versus players, bots that are going to come out and just spam man-to-man because they see all the pros spam man-to-man, you are literally going to beat the brakes off from running these plays. So the number one play you're going to run I picked is Slot Curl, right? And Slot Curl is a new play. It's a new play that we have not picked yet, right? And the reason why I like this play so much is this streak. Now, clearly he has -2 speed right now, but like I said to you guys want your fast guy here or one of your faster guys here if it's not a good route runner, right? So let's just say it isn't a fast guy. Let's just say you have Slot-O-Matic like a Mark Clayton, or maybe you have route technician like a Roddy White on this so you can get the Y route more open, right? Then you're going to go ahead and put your fast guy here on this play, your Tyreek Hill, your Dante Hall. And if he has any type of speed, speed discrepancy, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do this. You're going to hold L2 and it's going to pull up this menu, and then you're going to use your right stick to go ahead and find the slot guy, which is number 12. Now if he has any type of speed on the guy that's in the slot, this is automatically going to get open, right? You can run this 2 different ways. One, if you have like, I would say if you have +2 speed, you don't have to do this. You don't have to motion this. If you have +1, but if you have +1 speed, you don't always have to motion it. Sometimes you do, I would say, to be able to get this, to get the success rate up, in my opinion. But if you have +2 speed or more, this streak is different. It's just gonna honestly burn man immediately. I don't know why it does this, right? I was just blabbing with it one day, but versus man-to-man, this is kind of my bread and butter. I like to look up top versus this. And clearly I don't have another controller, so the computer is gonna go ahead and run man-to-man with the yellow and the deep blue stock. But most people are running 2 purples and leaving everything up top and just shading over top. Even if you shade over top, this is still going to beat it. I think it's just one of those streaks that just beats man-to-man up top. It happens every year when there's certain routes like this. I've lost a couple of tournaments because people have had streaks like that kind of just in their back pocket. I remember losing to Figgy in North Carolina because he kept running a streak and Muhammad Sanu was burning people that were, you know, like 3 or 4 speed faster than him. And I feel like this streak kind of just mimics the exact thing that does, where you can go ahead and just throw the streak. I also like to look for the hitch and the drag. I don't really look for square because square is not going to get open unless maybe you have route technician and you throw it immediately. Just because man-to-man really catches up quick this year. Like, even if you get just a little bit of separation, if you don't throw that off that break, it's usually going to be an interception just because of how fast the DBs are, how quick people click on. They can just go ahead and cut certain routes that you think are going to be open from last year. The last thing I like to do to this, I like to put my running back in an option route right here, just because option routes are one of the best in the game right now. That's why I tell you guys to get like a receiving or route running back, kind of like a Warwick Dunn or a CMC. Just because if you put them on an option route right here, you just have more levels, right? So you have that right side, we're going to go ahead and run the option route. You have the middle where you have this low ball hitch, and then you have circle where it's going to kill the which is going to kill man-to-man as well on the drag. And that's all on top of if you don't have the overtop guy, right? So I'm just going to show you guys real quick just first like normal man-to-man. As you can see, you have circle wide open right here. You can go ahead and hit the drag every time if they don't have purples. Same thing with the option route. So that's what I usually like to run until people are going to switch it up, start putting purples on the field. Now I'm going to hit them over the top. Another thing I like to run versus man-to-man right here, another setup that I like to run versus man-to-man like a lot is cross. We're going back to the cross. And this time, it's kind of like the last setup, right? Where you're going to go ahead, and I tried to press right there, but I forgot I wasn't on defense. You're just going to put square on a zig, and I like to motion him out personally just because I want to get a little bit more space for this X route to go ahead and get boogie. But yeah, X is going to beat man right off the rip. You're going to be able to throw that like immediately. Triangle, you're able to throw immediately because it's a drag as well, but a lot of people like to use that clearly. And then circle right off the cut, because Cooper Kupp has Slot-O-Matic. Yeah, I think he has Slot-O-Matic. Let me see just in case. Yeah, I'm going to be able to throw this right off the cut to circle when he cuts. I usually don't like to throw that unless the user isn't there specifically. But as you can see, I can throw that right off the cut every single time just because of how he cuts, how the route runs. But yeah, I like to just put square on a zig, motion him out, and hike the ball like this. Because you have X right off the rip. You can see, even with Tyler Higbee, who's kind of a slower guy, he's going to cut immediately and be able to get open. With like a Jermichael Finley or George Kittle that gets open every single time. So that's kind of just like my bread and butter versus man on a cross. Then the next setup I'm going to go ahead and show you guys is PA post shot. Now, remember before I was talking about PA post shot, how it's pretty good versus every formation, every coverage. Even versus man-to-man with purples is very, very good. It has a couple of different beaters out of it, and I have a couple of different setups that I like to run out of it. Number one setup that I like to run out of it is I like to run this play the way you guys are seeing it right here, just with 2 zigs, right? And I keep the 2 man beating routes on the field. Now, if you have slot-o-matic, you can do this one or 2 ways, right? Just depend on the look, because like I was telling you guys before, sometimes I motion plays, and when you're playing someone really good, they're going to take note in you motioning players. So sometimes I don't motion players and just like the quick hike or just keep the formation the same, just to really keep them off guard, because I feel like sometimes a motion is kind of telling them what we're doing, even though we do have different plays for different motions, so sometimes it isn't as well. But what you guys are going to do here is you're going to motion over circle, and as he sets, you're going to motion him back immediately. And what that's going to do is it's going to leave Marcus Peters behind Cooper Kupp, just because of the way the motion is. So that's why I tell you guys that man-to-man versus tight flex is almost impossible to run, if not impossible. And that's why for people that watch me a lot when I play on Twitch or on YouTube, man-to-man I never have a problem with. Just because right off the rip right there, when you tell this guy to motion back, you have to wait for him to set and then motion back immediately. You see he has the first couple of steps on Marcus Peters. And again, what that does, it just leaves Marcus Peters. And Cooper Kupp isn't the fastest right now, so he's not going to be able to show you. But as long as it's going to be someone fast, it's going to be a touchdown every single time. Just because of how the motion is. Just because of, look when I hike the ball, look at the separation, right? Look at the separation. It's at least a couple of yards. You know, and clearly he's only picking it. He's only really catching them just because of the speed difference. But yeah, that is why I feel like that route is really, really good. And then back the other way, right? Let's just say I don't have a fast guy, so I have to simulate what Cooper Kupp again. So we're gonna have to call a timeout real quick to simulate it. But let's just say you have a fast guy or someone with slot-o-matic on this triangle route, right? This gets open just because of the cut. Right, so Cooper Kupp isn't going to be able to 110% show you guys because he's a little bit of a slower dude. So he's going to get caught. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm not picking the defense, but he's going to get caught. But he is going to get separation on the cut, and that's the big thing, right? Because that's what I was saying. When faster guys come into the game, the wide route's going to be unstoppable with route tech or slot-o-matic because it gets that cut. And the only reason why it gets caught right now is because Roddy White and the guys with slot-o-matic and route technician aren't 110% the fastest right now. So I'm going to show you guys the same setup again. You have the 2 zigs just to look underneath if you guys want to go ahead and hit those if they're not running 2 purples, or if the 2 purples are running really deep, because you are running tight flex and some people just switch their zone drops to deeper. But at the moment, when I hike the ball, you're going to see Cooper Kupp kind of get that step on Marlon Humphrey. And the reason why Marlon Humphrey's knocking stuff out, he has deep zone KO, and he has speed upgrade on Cooper Kupp. That's the only reason why, right? And he's still getting open versus Marlon Humphrey. As you guys can see, he's still getting those steps on Marlon Humphrey. So to me, that's why I feel like this route's going to get even better than it is right now, which is really hard because it's really, really good right now. But if you have someone that's 90 deep route running or someone with route tech and you don't have that crazy of a speed difference, I would go ahead and definitely recommend to throw the wide route version just because it gets open. It's just the fact that in practice mode right now, Marlon Humphrey is so fast, on top of the fact that he has I think he has mid or deep zone K. My fault. I think he has mid or deep man KO, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, deep route KO, so improved knockouts in man. So that's the reason why he's dropping it right now. But that cut on slot-o-matic, you see he gets open for that one step. He gets open, and that's when I let go of it right there, sadly. Waiting, and then he gets that cut separation, and then right then and there, like right around here, you know, he's going to go ahead. And remember, this is not going to be on the field. This yellow is not going to be on the field. This is going to be a purple. When you're playing people, both these guys are going to be in purples, right? Because if they're not, then you're going to be able to go ahead and just dump down to these zigs every single time. But if they are putting purples on the field, then this yellow is not going to be on the field, theoretically, right? So with that being said, you're going to be able to have this wide route be wide open right off this cut. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of runs that I like to run versus tight flex as well, and then I'll get into the red zone stuff. So for the runs that I like to run in tight flex, I like to run HB counter, especially versus a dollar look, as I'll show you guys right here, a 236 will look, a dollar look. For some reason, it just picks up well, you know what I mean? I'll show you guys again on another run. It just picks up really, really well. I don't know I think it's just the formation, the aligning of the formation. It kind of just gives me easier ways to run, to be honest with you. So verse 146 and dollar and dime 236, it's actually very, very good in my opinion. I've taken a lot of crib runs in the counter, so I'm just happy that there is a good run this year out of tight flex. I haven't seen anything that really beats it yet, to be honest with you. Like something that like a look that I don't like to run at verse. Then to go ahead and just show you guys in the red zone, or actually I'll go ahead and show you guys this next. Show you guys a couple of bunch offset dots that I run. Go ahead and move Cooper Kupp over. So I run only like 1 or 2 plays out of bunch offset. It's only if I'm really feel like I get bagged out tight flex, and I really never have to. But let's just say someone's running man-to-man versus tight flex and they're really bagging me. What I like to do is, as you can see, you can put a zig on square right there, so you can put them, so you can definitely beat man. But this is a setup that I like to run out of mesh post. Sometimes I'll even, block my running back or put him on a curl or something just to make sure that he can go ahead and, just go out the backfield. So that, because if you guys didn't know, sometimes if you don't send a running back on a route and they're running man, they're going to spy or they're going to go onto another route and jump it. So that's why sometimes I like to put my running back just on some sort of route. But the big read right here automatically is when Cooper Kupp is going to cut, he's going to be able to get open. It's better with route technician than slot automatic, to be honest with you. Right there, that was kind of like a bad throw. And now I realize the reason why I won't work with slot automatic is because he's not in the slot. So yeah, I use route technician on Roddy White in MUT. If people have ever seen me throw this route on my stream, I just want to see if it worked with slot automatic. But yeah, route technician on this route, he's going to cut, and you're going to be able to throw that right off the cut. You see, even without the cut of route technician, he's going to be able to get open there. But if you want it 100% of the time, route technician every single time is going to get it open. So just to show you guys again, I hike it, I kind of wait a little bit, and then I hit it with the cut. Marcus Peters knows what I'm eating for lunch, so he's going to go ahead and jump at that time. But if you have route technician right there, he's going to go ahead and crush that route. And another thing, another man beater I like to run, the other man beater I like to run on a bunch offset is curl flat. And when I run out of curl flat, and this time for sure slot automatic should be able to do this because he's in the slot. But I like to run curl flat just because it's one of the corner routes that, like I said, if someone is running man-to-man cover one press, you're going to be able to throw it right off the break. So right here I'm going to show you guys, and just because Marlon Humphrey's on him, he may knock it out. But what I like to do is I just put circle on a drag. I keep square on that curl just because I feel like I'm going to be able to throw that curl if I don't have to drag. Levels concept that we were talking about. And then right off the break, you're going to be able to go ahead and throw that. Now, the reason why he blanketed that, I honestly don't know, to be honest with you. Practice mode is a little weird sometimes. I don't know why he just went crazy on that route. But almost every single time I've ever thrown that route, he doesn't go that crazy. It's just man-to-man is so weird this year. But yeah, I like to throw this bunch offset route a lot. If I ever am really bagged by man. And for me, using only slot automatic right now, I can definitely tell you that you need route tech over slot automatic for routes like this. Because when I run route tech in MUT and I run that route, it gets open every single time. So yeah, I definitely would recommend to go ahead and run route technician over slot automatic. Slot automatic, I feel like, is only really good in bunch for certain routes, kind of shorter routes. But for deeper routes, I feel like route technician is definitely the move. Now to go into the red zone, my favorite play in the red zone, gun doubles, PA draw shot. So I'm gonna go ahead and respot real quick. And this is a kill. I mean, it's a killer versus everything, right? It's a killer versus man. It's a killer versus zone. And I'll show you guys just my reads and my progression out of it real quick. So you're gonna come out in single back doubles, PA draw shot, and let's just say some dude comes out in cover 3, right? As you guys can see, that square route is gonna bounce, and that's what we want. And then from there, this is my setup. I'm just gonna put X on a baby out route and put triangle on a slant. And my reads are a square and circle, right? One of these two routes is more than likely gonna get open in the red zone. And as you can see, bam, right there. Nice little money play versus any coverage, in my opinion. The only thing that I feel like I've had kind of problems versus maybe a cover 4. And if you do get a cover 4 versus this setup there, you're gonna go ahead and double drag it instead of putting out route on a slant out. An out route and a slant out, just because I feel like the double drags are way more effective. But then again, you have circle right here, and then you wait towards the back of the end zone, you have square right there. I know it kind of looks like a risky throw, but the deep blue does not jump anything, and both of those crossers are wide open, especially a cover 3. Especially a cover 3. You can clearly tell versus a cover 3 this gets open. I don't know why he ran like that, but yeah. So that's one of my favorite red zone combos, if not my favorite red zone combo. Show you guys a couple of runs that I like to run to as well. Versus doubles, my audibles, I like to go ahead and put dive in my audible, and then I have stretch alert bubble, so sometimes I run that as well. If you guys didn't know anything well, not anything, if you guys didn't know how to put your audibles, in your formation or any formation, you're just going to go into the play call screen and then just press L2. You're going to press whatever button on a play that you want to go ahead and get rid of, and then you're going to put that as the audible. So for example, I'm going to show you guys how to set up audibles for tight flex. L2, I like to put double spot at square, at draw, I usually like to change to the counter. Inside high low, I like to change to the cross. So this is usually what my audibles look like for tight flex. Yeah, but that is everything. I hope you guys enjoyed the offensive ebook. That is everything that I found so far. The reason why I wanted to go ahead and not drop the ebook immediately, because I know a lot of people were asking why it wasn't out almost the release day of Madden, or wasn't out as quick as a lot of other ebook sites. Just because I was really trying to get a feel for the game 110%. I wanted to be the lab dummy, the test dummy for y'all, so I can know what to throw, what to not throw for this video, and what route combos on the field. On top of the fact that a lot of those like cover 3 and cover 4 beaters and some of the new runs that I was showing y'all, I just found. So that's another reason why I honestly wanted to go ahead and wait. The last thing I'm gonna do is give you guys one personnel tip. Sometimes what I like to do is, if you're playing somebody that isn't really adjusting too much, let's just say he's running like a dime or a dollar throughout the whole game and you really want to punish him, another thing I really love to do is I love to go into 2 tight end set. So to go to a 2 tight end set this year, all you have to do is just put a tight end in, right? And what it's going to do is you're able to switch to different formations. So one of my favorite things I do like to do sometimes is I'll come out randomly, you know what I mean? Like a random second down, maybe second down and 8. It could be first down and 10, first play of the game. I come on 2 tight ends for tight flex, and I'm able to audible down a dive. And what it's going to do is it's going to weak box dollar and dime. And for anyone that doesn't know what weak box is, that means the players are going to run slower even at their normal speed. They're going to take bad angles, and the CPU is going to dumb out, and it's going to be an easy touchdown. So that's what I like to do sometimes. Usually it's a way easier run when you get a weak box. So that's why I like the weak box versus that. I like to audible down once in a while. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, man. I hope that you guys enjoyed the ebook. I hope you guys get way better offensively, defensively, improve in my head-to-head, in your CFMs, money games, just in general. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and put all my information somewhere. I've just started using this website for my ebook, so I don't know exactly where I'm going to put it. I was going to say description, but I mean, maybe I could put it in the description of this YouTube video as well. But yeah, if you guys need, have any questions on the ebook, if you guys are having any trouble, DM me on Twitter, whisper me on Twitch. I appreciate the support. I love y'all. I'm out. Peace.